Hello everyone, my name is Harry, and today we are going to do a quick toy video on G.I. Joes. We're going to do just a quick understanding of how to tell if your old G.I. Joes are worth money versus how to tell if it's just a basic common G.I. Joe, which probably isn't really worth much. Now obviously we got a bunch of different G.I. Joes right here. These are all, for the most part, a Real American Hero G.I. Joe line. Now, normally G.I. Joes come in a couple of different forms. So you have the original G.I. Joes from the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, which are roughly about 12 inches tall. Easy, very simple to figure those out. Now, what we're looking at here is the small Real American Hero toys, and there are some very distinct ones to be able to tell the difference for. So we're looking at right here. Here's a basic one. Here's 1984 Firefly. Now, they're all roughly about the same height. They're roughly about 4 inches tall. So if they go a little bit bigger, we got the Sergeant Savage toy line, which is a little bit bigger than that toy line. We also have another one right here, G.I. Joe Extreme. These right here are pretty much straight figures for the most part. They have no real joints, so they're very easy to tell apart in regards to them. So more than likely, if you're buying G.I. Joe toy lots, one more. This right here is a modern G.I. Joe toy. As you see, a lot different, less rivets, that kind of thing. So we're going to give you some basic understandings of what are basic G.I. Joes. So G.I. Joes obviously have multiple points of articulation. They're also what's called O-rings. So O-rings actually have a rubber band in the center right here that's easily snappable. It can easily be broken, and all of the Real American Hero toys for the most part have these O-rings. Sergeant Savage toys do not, and neither do G.I. Joe Extremes or the modern ones. So normally if you have an O-ring, you can assume it's part of that toy line. Now these toys come in a couple of different varieties because for the most part they are region based. So the ones that we received in America, the Aura, as everyone likes to call them, toy line, are pretty much basic across the world. But certain countries got their own specific ones. Like you have some that are just for Venezuela, you have some that are just for Brazil, you have some that are just for the UK. So the trick to understanding that can be covered in a different video. So here's a couple of tricks that everyone needs to look for when it comes to the toys themselves. So when it comes to identifying your toys, you can always go to a G.I. Joe Wikipedia site like yojo.com, and they have a complete catalog of all the toys. You can go year by year and you can figure out what's worth money and what's not. Obviously, the ones that are worth money are going to be in the super early years and the super later years. So we have one right here, for example. This is a later version of Gung Ho. He is worth more money than, say, this one right here, for example, because this was made in less quantity than this one was. Now, a couple of easy tricks when it comes to identifying your Joes, because obviously some are worth more money, is this. So these ones are the 1982 original G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero line. So the way you can tell them apart is that they actually have elbows that bend, but they don't turn. So if you take a basic G.I. Joe here, you can actually turn the figure because you can actually turn it at the actual hand. It's actually designed to turn. So the original 1982 toy line did not have that. It's a luxury. So normally if you're looking through a toy lot and you find a toy where it doesn't turn to that extent, you can actually assume that's a 1982 toy and it's worth a lot more money than the other ones. Now, 1982 in general has always been a plainer color. It's not nearly as colorful or well designed as some of the other ones in this grouping, for example. So normally when you see the plain factor, and of course you can see just by looking, you can see the difference about how obvious that is. So these are worth more money than those. And of course the parts form are also worth money as well. Now you can also look for blue. These right here are worth more money simply because they're part of the Sergeant Slaughter group. All the Sergeant Slaughter toys are worth more money, as well as anything anything with tiger prints or anything with a python pattern on it. Those toys tend to go for more in general. Now, this is just a quick guide. I always recommend researching your toys before you try to sell them, because there's nothing worse than someone making money off of you and just reselling them in general. So definitely know what you have for sale. It's like trying to sell a card. If you don't understand your card, then you're probably not going to know its true value. So real quick, just a quick recap. These are easy to identify. They're worth more money than basic figures. Obviously, the earlier figures are worth more money. You go up later in the line, they're worth less money. And of course, you can tell the difference between these original toys, Sergeant Savage, Extreme, and also Modern, just by looking at them. Definitely know what you have. Well, everyone, best of luck. I hope this video is helpful, and I'll see y'all. Yo, Joe.